obviously, I knew it was always a difficult task, if I'm honest with you. And if I wasn't a United man, I would have gone City to win, if I'm honest with you. But the reality is that you can see the difference in class, certainly second half. I thought first half it was a reasonable showing. We felt that we were still in the game, considering, although we're giving away two kind of bang average goals. But having said that, second half, you expect the players to come out, fire it up a little bit, and you expect them to really try and take City on. But instead, what we got, a lackluster performance throughout the team. I mean, if it wasn't for De Gea again, it probably could have been even far worse. Yeah, so if you're United...
Right, that was embarrassing second half. That was a real poor performance. I mean, when you're talking to the Manchester derby, I watched those players just sit back. You wouldn't have had that on your watch, right? You'd have been after people. You'd have been getting involved. But really, City did whatever they wanted. The control possession, so comfortable. I mean, the supporters were all celebrating every little pass. And there was only McTominay, one half challenge in the bottom corner, had a little bit go at Cancelo. I mean, there was nothing to them. And I don't just mean go and kick people or get around or get on the ball, be determined, set a tone for your team. But that was a poor second half for Manchester United.
Dwight? Yeah, and I couldn't agree with you anymore. I mean, you said it all there in everything in a nutshell. But like, as I said, being a United man, you could imagine how hurtful that has feel to us, because we seen it time and time again over a period of time, not just in this particular game, but throughout the season, last season under Oli as well. So it's becoming quite, you know, a standard thing that we kind of expect. So when we go into these games, you're not quite sure what we're going to get. And today, particularly the second half, as you said, Michael, it's again a lackluster performance. And this is where United is at the moment. And, you know, people like myself who's been there and been part of that fabric for so long, you're scratching your head because we got really good players. But for some reason, it's just not happening, and so it's quite frustrating for all of us.
Why do you think this is? How are the hierarchy at Manchester United going to be trying to fix this? Now, we know they have a really tough run of games lined up in the Champions League as well. They might progress, they might not progress against Atletico Madrid. But Richard Arnold upstairs, Ralph Rangnick is the manager. Next season, of course, he's going to be in that consultancy position. What are they going to be saying? What are they going to be looking at as the root cause?
Let's just forget all that, who is going to be manager. We're going to deal with the issue right now. We are in 5th place. We are likely to not be in the championship. Financial reward, a club of Man United stature, to not even be in the Champions League position, to finish outside of the top 4. It's a disaster for the club. It's absolutely disastrous. And so, you know, the hierarchy, and they'll have to really look at themselves. And know Richard Arnold is obviously just been put into that, CE role, and he's the new face and the man to take us forward. So his challenge has become even much more harder than it already is. So they need to go back to the drawing board and find out what is the solution, who's the right man to take over. All these questions need to be answered, but you can't answer those questions until you take the situation that we are facing with right now, which is out of the top 4. We got all these runs of games coming up. The team has just been, you know, embarrassed in many respects.
What is it though, Dwight? Dwight, what is it? Dwight, what is it in the team that they're missing? Because you put them all down on paper individually, as a group of players, they should be in the top 4. You've got to agree with me there. But what is it? Why can't we've seen different manager changes? We've seen different personnel. But what is it in that group that inconsistency is just there for all to see?
Yeah, and before you answer, Dwight, sorry, I'm just going to follow up on Brownie's question there, because I'm looking back at their summer. This was supposed to be it for Manchester United. They signed Rafael Varane to partner Harry Maguire. I know he wasn't involved today, but he has featured in games this season, and their league position isn't a reflection on just one game. It's the course of the entire season, and Varane has featured. Then you got Cristiano Ronaldo as well. He came into the equation. Jadon Sancho was bought for a lot of money, someone they've been chasing after for a very long time. And yet here we are. And if they don't get the Champions League spot, and if they don't win the Champions League, you can't help but say it has been a dismal season for United. So what are they missing? I mean, they've gone through so many managers, different types of managers, a club legend, Jose Mourinho, the serial winner, the philosophical Louis van Gaal, David Moyes before that. What is the problem?
Okay, well, I tell you what I think it is because I've just finished or complete my pro license. So I've been studying the art of management and what it takes. I mean, for me, we had fantastic players, and I keep referring back to the time I played. But even Brownie in your dressing room, it's togetherness. I don't see this United team together. You don't galvanize these players. You're not seeing people pulling each other up and running, to try and help their teammates out of the position. So you can have as much superstars in your team if they're not prepared to do the hard work and that togetherness. Because I kind of look back now and reflect on why we are successful, not because we're just good players. We had a good bond. We were together. And I think that is what seemed to be missing. There's no togetherness there. There seemed like, I'm okay, Jack. I'm all right, Jack. I look after myself. I score a goal. The team lose. That's fine. I don't see enough hurt men, even in the second half. And I think the second half just tells me that there is no togetherness there. I see a little bit of fight in the first half, fair enough to the boys, and they deserve that little bit of credit. But second half, there's no togetherness. If you don't have a bunch of guys that are pulling in the same direction, no matter how good you are, you're always going to come off as second best in a team sport. And that's, for me, even my success at Villa, when I look back, the little success I had there, the togetherness as a team and the unit that we formed there and the confidence that we breed among each other got you through season. At United was
Is
different.
that recruitment, though, Dwight? Is that recruitment? Is that the recruitment of the players? Is it a different personnel? Is it the management style? Or what is it? That's what, how can they not have that?
How do you forge
That's what I don't understand. There seems some really good guys there and some great players. I don't see why they can't have that.
Yeah, and this is why I'm scratching my head, because that's when you talk about individual players. We have a good squad, a squad that is more than capable, winning the Premier League, in my opinion. But for some reason, like you said, we keep going back and asking those questions. Is it coming from the manager? Hey, Goatee, tell Goatee to behave himself.
The goat is having it. He's enjoying
tell
himself.
Tell him,
He's laughing all the way down there, actually.
Tell him respect. Tell him there's
he
some
said, have
respect,
some respect, Sean. Have some respect, mate. He just gives you the thumbs up, mate.
Yeah, good man.
He's a happy man.
So, yeah, I think for me, it's not so much that. I look a little bit more deeper. You got to have that togetherness. Yes, it has to come from the top to the bottom. It's got to manifest. Let's talk about building that culture again. So the manager is right down throughout to the players. That has to install into the players. But it shouldn't be that difficult with the kind of players that we have. Why is it so difficult? Why is it becoming so hard work for the players that Man United have at their disposal? And it's just driving me insane like everybody else. It really is frustrating.
Is it ego? Is it ego for you, Dwight?
I've probably been in a dressing room with the biggest egos that you probably could come about in the game. But once we crossed that white line, we were all together. We didn't all get on even after training or after games. But once we come into training and once we go out to play, that togetherness was always there. We were always on the same path. Right? And I think that is what's happening at the club. People are going off in different directions, and it's become a little bit manifest to the stage where it's just showing up everybody, and you could see that there's just not togetherness. Ego, yeah, you're always going to have big personality and big egos in dressing room. That's part and parcel of a team sport, but ultimately, if you don't have everybody pulling in the same direction, you're likely to come off, second best.